Now I have got a fishing fly for you today. This thing is definitely not an Instagram fly. Now I found it in Scott Sanchez's A New Generation of Trout Flies, published in 2005. If you don't have this book, check it out. It's really a pretty good one. The pattern is a foam back sparkle dun. It's just a general mayfly emerger with the two traits being elk hair propped upright for a wing, and then Zelon or Antron is a trailing shuck, which that's the sparkle part of it. And then the foam back to give it a little more buoyancy. Now I am making one change from what Sanchez had in his book. He uses a 1mm foam, and I tied a couple with 1mm foam, but I'm going to step it up to 2mm just because of the waters I'm going to fish this thing in. Now I know it'll make it a little bit more bulky, but I'm probably going to be fishing this thing in some faster, riffly, kind of choppy water, and I need a little bit of extra buoyancy. Now it is an emerger, so it's not going to float high anyway. The elk hair will naturally float, but that trailing shuck's going to get down into the surface film, and with a little bit of extra foam, that will probably just keep it right up there in the film. Now it is not a hard tie, but it was a pretty fun one, and I'm pretty sure this thing's going to catch a lot of fish for us. So there it is in the vise, a foam back sparkle dun, based on Scott Sanchez's pattern in his New Generation of Trout Flies. I am making one change to his. He uses a 1mm foam, and I'm going with a 2mm, really just based on how I'm going to fish it, which I'll probably fish this in riffled water, kind of fast water. So go ahead and put your thread down, leave it up here about the first third, and I'm using yellow thread just based on the body color I'm going with. I think black would be just fine here. First component we're going to do is our elk hair wing. Put a medium-sized tuft in your stacker, and you want to open it up with the tips going forward. That way you can minimize how many times you have to swap it in your fingers. Okay, that's stacked pretty well, and let's see, not terribly high, but not an insignificant wing either. I'm spinning this thread clockwise. It's a 52 denier if I did not mention it, and I'm cheating with the hair a little bit toward my side, so these first wraps, they will kind of naturally spin it around toward the front of the hook. So several wraps to just lock this in. And now we got this big tuft in the back to trim. And if you can get in here and trim it at an angle, it'll help with your taper. If not, don't worry about it, but get it as close as you can get it. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to taper this down just a little bit right here. Oop, that spun around on me. If that happens, it's not the end of the world. We just spin it back to where you want it. And we'll take our thread up here and prop this up. I don't want that much. See that? That's a lot of bare hook in front of there. I don't want that much, so I'm going to take another wrap or two going forward. And that's fine. I'm still going to have plenty of height for this wing. So that should be it right there. Now we can prop this up, put our wraps up under, and we'll try to prop it up about 90 degrees. Okay, that did. We'll end up pushing it down here in a minute, but we can prop it back up with some dubbing wraps up in front of it. So go ahead and take your thread just behind this mess of elk hair butts right there. And now we're going to catch in the trailing shuck, which is the kind of sparkle part of this pattern. So this is just a Antron or Zelon fibers, and we'll go ahead and catch them in kind of long, because we will trim them here in just a second. So one wrap, I can pull that back a little bit. Might minimize how much I have to trim up here in just a second. Okay, I think that is going to be fine right there. Now we are going to need to rib this thing, so what I'll do, pull about 5 inches of thread out, create a little loop, just like a dubbing loop. Okay, and now I'm going to just park this thing, these two thread, pieces of thread right here off to the side with my magnet. And now we're going to dub a body. So put a little wax on here if you use wax when you dub your bodies. And really any kind of fuzzy dubbing you want. I'm going to use this Coyote. It's a DIY blend of Coyote and acrylic yarn. No particular reason why I'm using this Coyote, I just kind of like it and I had it in the nice color that I wanted to use. So we'll dub maybe a 2-inch noodle. We're just going to take it up to right behind that elk hair wing. Okay, that body looks fine. Now we grab some foam, a little triangle piece right here, cut into, a point. It's going to be a little long. This is where I mentioned we're going to push that wing down, not necessarily on purpose by design, it's just going to happen that way. So we want this little triangle to be maybe a little bit past the bend of the hook. We'll secure this with a couple of thread wraps up front. And now we'll get this rib and secure it with maybe 2 or 3 more wraps right here. Just keeping that foam on top of the fly. All right, I think that's fine. Now go ahead and secure this thread up here with a few extra thread wraps. And now snip this tag end of this rib and we'll snip this excess foam up here and get in here and get it as close as you can get it. You can sculpt it a little bit if you want, but we're going to squish this down with a few more thread wraps and then a little bit more dubbing here. All right, see how we've got that wing prop pushed forward? We don't really want that, but we'll fix that here in just a second. So a little more wax and a little more of this dubbing. So 1 or 2 wraps behind it. I think I'm gonna go with 2. And now I'm gonna prop this wing up and dub a little bit more up in front of it. And now our wing should be sticking up how we want. You might want to just pull it around a little bit so the fish is going to see more of it. But I think we got some room for a whip finish here. And now we gotta trim this trailing shuck. So maybe a body length. Don't want it to be insignificant. It's going to sit down there in the surface film anyway, so yeah, just long enough that it's going to give it a little bit of sparkle there. So there you go, foam back sparkle done. Pretty nifty pattern. I think this is going to work all right in the waters that I fish. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care and we'll see you next time.